How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. What up, nerds? Oh, I hit the wrong button, but it's okay. We're gonna just stay on this screen since we're here already. What's up, my fellow nerds, my trading buddies? Today was, let's just pull up the chart. Today was a good green day on the market. So nice move up overall. Let me just move some things out of my way here. Nice move up overall, moving into that big Wednesday high area that I was talking about. And we're seeing a couple stocks report earnings and also push back to the high side. For example, Google, not as much Intel, but Google, Tesla, Netflix making a new all-time high. If I remember correctly, it made a new all-time high today, right? So there you go, new all-time high today. Netflix, in what people are we're not so long ago so worried about a bear market, so worried about recession and all things of those big scary words being thrown around on the market, on the news channels and so on. But here you have Netflix going into an all-time high. You have Google bouncing right back into previous levels, and almost moving back into the 200-day moving average. So looks like the market bottom for the time being is currently in, and we are getting some good momentum, some good some good pop to the upside on the overall market. So shout out to anyone who withstood the downfall. If you managed to withstand the downfall and not get burnt by the overall down move, maybe you even bought some on the down move and now you're looking at some more profits. I mean, it's already like what, 12% return on the markets if you were able to buy the dips on the market. Time it right at least. But it's been good to see some shift of momentums. You're seeing the smaller time frame moving averages now no longer slope to the downside. They're either flat or curling back up, so a little bit of positive momentum. You still have the 200-day moving average, which is flat to incline to the downside a little bit, but that looks like that's gonna get turned back up very soon if tariff talks do come out in the right direction. At the moment, tariff talks don't seem to be coming out in the right direction, but all things just time will tell, right? No one knows the future unless you're Trump. Then yes, you know the future, and unless you're Trump and his son and everybody else who's been insider trading all these markets so far, then you know the future. But besides them, all we can do is wait patiently to see what catalyst comes out, if China is actually going to go ahead and make a deal, or is China just going to wait Trump out until Trump backs out himself? So so far that is the conversation, the latter part. People and even economists are saying that China is just going to wait this out. They're not going to bend the knee to Trump and the USA, which I think is also my opinion if you ask me. But I'm not an economist, so my opinion has little to no weight on this matter. So talking about today's moves and today's stocks, I think there was a lot of green on the market, but in terms of opportunities for a day trade, I don't think there were many. I mean, you can randomly pick a stock and be like, oh, that looked like a good long from VWAP over there. You're trading in hindsight. You could be like, oh, that looked like a good opening range breakout. That looked like a good long from VWAP, but you're not taking an opening range breakout most of the time when the stock is still within yesterday's ranges, right? So most of the stocks were kind of in that kind of baskets where they weren't really too good of a setup to participate in, and the ones that did go up, they just kept going up and never really gave you a proper dip to participate. So it just kind of sucked today to look for a long, except for one stock. So that's Palantir, and managed to actually capture that long on that breakout. I started the long from VWAP, but I kind of got chickened out on that trade. I closed it for a flat trade, but later on when the stock actually breaks above VWAP, manages to continue its ride to the high side. That was good to see on Palantir. And you can see how it just keeps on going into the close too. Boy, oh boy, missed out on buying Palantir for the swing account above this $99 breakout. That would have been monster. Already would have been up 6, 7, 8% in the money in 2 days, and now my stop would be today's low, which was basically 100.91, or even yesterday's high, which is 103.76. So somewhere around 103 to 101 is where your stop would be, and you basically started the position around 99 had you done it right. So missing out on some money on the swing account over here on Palantir, but no complaints. For now on the day trade, managed to capture the long and then basically turned my day back to break even because of this. Later on, the rest of the trades were all, even though most of them did go in my direction, I just didn't do too hot today on the market. So break even day for the most part, and that comes to shout out to Palantir over here. Just goes to show, how important it is to stay patient on days like today and not just force setups because the market just keeps going higher. Yeah, the market's going higher, but there aren't really too many actionable setups. There's possibly one setup here on Nvidia, which I was looking at, but then the distance from where Nvidia is to VWAP was almost 1%. So I was like, I don't know about that. But if you ignore that distance and just purely look at how the stock is above yesterday's high, holding above the 21 moving average, 21 EMA on the 5-minute, that is, and then manages to start kick in some volume back to the upside, that is potentially a good spot to get long and then try to see where you end up into the end of the day where you're not risking too much. This is like possibly a 50-cent risk and you're getting way more than a 50-cent reward, but it's just like I said, setups were very few. SMCI was a pretty good setup over there, late day breakout, but then you would also be taking a late day breakout into yesterday's high, which is, you know, most of the time a scary thing to do, because that's where the stock actually rejects and pushes back to the south side, and you're like, oh, why did I take that breakout? But you know, if you don't take that breakout, then now you're playing hindsight 2020, where you're seeing a big move like this and you're like, oh man, maybe that breakout was worth taking. So sometimes, you know, you have to pick and choose whether you're gonna stick to your rule book, your playbook rules and so on, or are you going to break them? And it just depends on you know, how in play the name is, how in play the market or the sector is. Given how in play Palantir was, SMCI probably, which also looks like a very similar setup, and if you ask me, actually SMCI looks like a way better setup. It actually looks like a perfect inverse bouncy ball. You got the higher low, higher low, higher low. You got the 3 times test of a straight flat flat level, which is around 34.72, tested 3 times, higher low, higher low, higher low, and a nice breakout of that price point for a big move up. So if you know, you're just taking that pattern for what it is and not looking at the last week high and yesterday's high being just pennies away from the breakout, then that would have been a decent trade to participate in. So sadly, not too many opportunities. I did try a bunch of stocks. Overall, nothing burger for me except for Palantir. CEP was a name that moved pretty well today. SMMT was another one, and most of these stocks are on my watch list for tomorrow. So let's not waste any time, I guess, and talk about some of the stocks that I'll be interested to keep an eye on for the watch list. Also, quickly, let's head over to the IPO calendar, because I know that there are some stocks here that I might have to put. I mean, do I really care about these small companies? Whatever, we'll throw them on the list. If they do anything, maybe we can think about a trade on them. PHOE FMFC, and the first one, I'm not gonna even bother looking at it. So PHOE and FMFC, watch both of them be like some biotech, biopharma, pre-sales, preclinical, haven't even gotten into, you know, creating the drug kind of companies. Watch. That's why I hate keeping an eye out for these small companies. Anyways, Google reporting earnings today. Let's quickly go to the earnings board, show you guys what other stocks reported, like Intel, T-Mobile, AEM, a gold miner, SKS, Skechers reporting today after hours. Some names that I'm interested for tomorrow pre-market: Schlumberger, SLB, ABBV, and Colgate. Colgate, I didn't really throw it into my watch list, but maybe worth keeping an eye on, because sometimes it has given me trades. And Charter, I just saw Charter on a quick glance on the watch list over there. They're reporting tomorrow pre-market. I know that's a $300 name, and also a telecommunication name, just like what is it? Just like T-Mobile and so on. I guess not T-Mobile, it's more TV than mobile phones and so on, but you get the idea. So Charter Mobile, Charter Telecoms, something to keep an eye out for also. Not too bad of full liquidity for a $300 name, so I guess, you know what, we'll just throw it in here. CHTR, was it? CHTR, yes. And we'll throw this one a little bit higher, right next to the stocks that report. Okay, anyways, this is all over the place, so it doesn't even matter. But that is your earnings board for tomorrow, basically tonight and tomorrow. Starting with Google, head over to GOOGL For those of you who already have Google in your long terms, I'm pretty sure you noticed the spike, or you probably got some alerts by your brokers that your positions are spiking, and that's because earnings report. So good earnings report. I think from a quick glance, what I saw was trading higher from a better than expected Q1 financial results. That's always a good thing. So let's try to find this results over here, see if we can find something. Yahoo is ready to buy Chrome browser if Google is forced to sell it. That's basically the DOJ probing them and their monopoly things. I think, what was it? OpenAI said they're also interested in buying Chrome, but this is just Yahoo's way of trying to stay alive again, right? Yahoo, which is pretty much dead, and trust me, if Yahoo gets Chrome, Chrome is going to absolutely die. So I'm not sure if that is a good thing to happen. I think OpenAI buying Chrome and then revamping into a fully AI browser would probably be a much better thing overall for humanity. I think Yahoo is just known to buy things and then kill things, so you want to be pretty careful. Do I have food in my beard? What's that? Or is that just my skin? Okay. So Yahoo coming out overall to place a bid for the Google Chrome browser. I don't know if that's actually gonna play out. How much are they even asking for it? I think last time I checked, Google browser is worth like $20 billion in itself. So that is kind of crazy. Anyways, let's read the report over here. Revenue up 12% year over year, beating estimates. EPS, what's the EPS? 2.81 versus 2.01. Nice little beat over there. Google search beating last year. YouTube ad revenue beating last year. Google network be less than last year for the Google network. What is Google network? Total Google advertising revenue is also up from same period last year. The company's Google, these are just a bunch of other extra stuff over here. I want to look for the outlook. Did they not give the outlook? Company also announced the board of directors authorized 70 billion share repurchase plan on April 23rd. That's pretty big. Apple announced a 5% increase to the dividend, with the quarterly payout going to now 21 cents per share. So increasing dividends, basically giving more incentive for people to hold on to their shares. The company ended the first quarter with over 270 million paid subscribers of what? I guess YouTube and possibly like Fitbit and so on. So I'm surprised anyone actually pays for Fitbit. But YouTube, I pay for it, so I understand the point. Underpinning this growth is our unique full stack approach to AI, blah, 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 more AI comments, but not really anything about the outlook. Nothing about the outlook. Alphabet reportedly sees AI overview reached 1.5 billion monthly users during the conference call. Okay. Yahoo, blah, 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 raises quarterly dividend from 20 cents to 21 cents. One more penny. That's what Nvidia's dividend is, right? You get 1 penny from Nvidia. That's their overall dividend. Woohoo! Hey, you get 1 penny increase from Google overall. Shout out to anyone who owns Google. You're about to get 21 cents per share. 21. Overall, stock did pop to the upside off the earnings report. It looks like 170 will be somewhat of an inflection level tomorrow. And if you just go zoom out to the hourly chart and the daily chart, you're just gonna see a bunch more levels that are kind of just above 170. For example, last month's high at 175. You can also see how previous earnings VWAP is exactly where the stock is kind of basing out at, right? You got the pop into the previous earnings VWAP into 170, and then it's just kind of stalling out over here. So ideally, you don't want to see it below 165, and if it does get above 170, you want to see it holding above 170 on every dip. That way you can can potentially look for a move into 175 and more, given that the market does look like it's bottomed out, and there are chances that the market starts bringing in some buyers, some real big money buyers, and you can see that buy program starting kicking in, and some confidence coming back into the market. So when companies like Google report good earnings, big beat on EPS, actually almost $1 per share beat on EPS, and revenue growth coming in with 12% revenue growth. So all things looking good for me so far, and I'm not really bearish on this stock at all at this point. Now, any pops tomorrow, I want to see how those pops react, but more importantly, I want to see if the dips have buyers, so I could participate in that. So a bunch of levels in this whole pocket. I will not be surprised if the stock is trading in this pocket tomorrow, at which point, honestly, my life becomes a lot easier, because a dip and hold around last week's high is an automatic long, so that's around $160. A hold around 170, this is 170. A hold around 170 and above 170 would be a little bit of a harder long than down here, in my opinion, but that is still something that I'll be looking to get long into for a possible opportunity for a move into 175 or higher, and that would even play out as a swing trade, right, for investors and swing traders and so on. So watching how that one positions us, if we are already above 175, that would make things a lot harder for me to press into a long on a breakout, but it won't make me stay away from a long, especially on a dip. So if the stock is holding above 175 on dips, then I am interested to look long, but I want to get long as close to the buyer as I can, as close to, for example, if the buyer is around 175.20, then I want to be as close to 175.20 as I can for the longs, and I want to put my stop below 175. I want to make sure I cover that range where it does get below 175, traps some stops, and then pops back up. I want to cover that range down there, and then be able to look for a bigger move up if it actually plays out. But I don't know if there is actually like for example, if pre-market we are somewhere here, the stock gaps down, or not gaps down, it pulls back from the open. I don't know if there is a lot of this, right? Probably you get somewhere here in the pre-market, a pullback off the open, a hold, and then probably something like this for the rest of the day. So this is the move that I'm basically looking to capture. There is also this move that you can look to capture, which is the sell-off towards the last month high and then flip long. So a couple ideas to trade above 175. That's the only way where I will think about getting short on this name tomorrow. If it's in these ranges between 160 to 170, I am only looking to get long on dips, and if it's between 170 to 175, I'm also only looking to get long on dips, but I want it closer to 170. Same idea as 175. I want it closer to 175. So a couple ideas over there as to how I'm going to be keeping an eye out for Google. Intel reported earnings, and I think somebody in the chat mentioned something about Google. Google announced that regarding buying stick Intel. What the heck does that mean? Is that even English? What are you saying? Good evening, Prad and chat. We are here for you to guide us throughout Free Fall Friday, says John Juan Sewers. Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to see Free Fall Friday. I'll be honest with you. I think the market is in a very bullish trend at the moment, and a momentum at the moment. And, it looks like a lot of buyers are coming back in and actually buying stock for the swing and the long terms and so on. So you want to be pretty careful going out there and just blindly thinking about a free fall Friday tomorrow. I actually don't think we're going to see a free fall Friday. Google rebuying its stock, and Intel stock plunged. Yes, Intel stock did plunge on what was apparently a positive report, but if you zoom out on the daily chart, I mean, Intel stock has been plunging, and it is basically in a very, very tight range where I don't care to trade it at all. So this doesn't even matter to me, honestly. that it did plunge, because it's like, what am I really playing for here? It's probably better for me to just go focus on Google, or maybe even SMMT tomorrow instead of Intel, in my opinion, because it's just not worth my time. It's just a very boring stock to trade, very lame boomer name, stuck in a boomer range. Nobody really cares about Intel anymore, and I for sure don't. But today's earnings report looks like a green report, but that didn't matter. They plunged to the downside. They sold off the name again, once again. A couple of stocks that reported today pre-market. I want to talk about Hasbro. Hasbro popping up to the north side big time, and you know, they also said that they are well positioned for what's the word I'm looking for? The best word in the dictionary: tariffs. They're also well positioned for tariffs, and so on. I mean, this is a pretty bullish move, and looks like a little flag on the intraday. But on the daily chart, that is a very bullish move, and a very big move. So I don't think the stock actually gets above 62 tomorrow. Even if it does gets above 62, you know, you have the 200-day moving average right at 63. So I am not interested by any means to look for a breakout long on Hasbro. What I will be possibly interested for, is a dip long. If it holds into 60 bucks, which is exactly where the earnings VWAP is. If it holds 60 tomorrow and has volume, maybe look for a day 2 trade. If it goes back into last month's low of, what is that, 58, 59, $59, and it holds around 59, which is also that little dip low today, possibly could look for a long into 61.50. But I don't think the stock will have a lot of volume tomorrow. I mean, for example, here you can see how on the earnings day, next day, volume dies down drastically, range dies down drastically, almost everything dies down drastically. So that's pretty interesting. Okay. I actually want to see how that looks for other candles. Huh. Interesting. Actually, I want to go look at this on this one now. Hold up. Huh. 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 That's pretty interesting. I like things like that. I'm not gonna say what I'm looking at because I don't want to give away some secrets, but it's not that hard to see what I'm looking at if you're just paying a little bit of attention. If you're paying a little bit of attention. Dieter, you can reach out to me in my DMs and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Anyways, Google is high priority tomorrow over Intel without a doubt. CEP, a random name going absolutely crazy. I'm not even sure what the stock does. Cantor Equity Partners, not too long ago of an IPO, or I should say reverse SPAC merger. So reverse SPAC merger and going absolutely insane. Probably a low float name and all that. So pretty interesting to see how this one sets up tomorrow. Maybe some downside tomorrow by popping into this $36 area and then rejecting. I will be looking for a short for sure. But wow, this is so fucking cool. I mean, that's a good area to get long right there. Huh. I gotta start using this more. Huh. Oh no, I was trading here. I was like, wait, I didn't see that earlier, but no, I was trading here and I lost here. Okay, that makes sense. Unlocking some hidden jujitsu talents on the trading market. Shout out to my buddy Caterino Pepperino. I'm pretty sure he's not watching the stream, but he pointed something out to me that I decided to apply to my charts too. Okay, anyway, CEP, very interested to see how this stock sets up tomorrow. One of those parabolic names going absolutely crazy. So the more parabolic this goes, the more I want to look for the short at the moment. Looks like anywhere from 30 to 34. Was it 36? I think it's at 34 to 36. I think was the actual range. Let's go back into the 5-minute chart. Yeah, so 34 to $36 area. If it pops here and rejects tomorrow, that is your short in my opinion. But if it gets back above that zone, you want to be very careful shorting this name. I can't remember if the shorts were free on this stock. I didn't even bother looking to short the stock today at all. I tried to go long and I got punished. But yes, a name that for sure will be on watch for tomorrow. NOW, an earnings name, and a pretty expensive name for that. So very expensive name, $900 name, almost heading into $1,000, I guess. The intraday chart is very similar to what SMCI looked like before it broke out today. So maybe tomorrow you actually get that breakout. So a couple opportunities on NOW, possible dip and hold into earnings VWAP, possible back and forth around 945 for a breakout above that for a day 2 run. For given how big today's candle is and you know how small the usual ranges are on this stock, I don't think we will see a big day 2 tomorrow, but I hope I'm wrong, because I'm very interested to see if some buyers kick back in. It is also now reclaiming the 200-day moving average, so it just kind of makes things a little bit better to even look for the breakout long on this one. So if it does set up tomorrow, maybe like a opening range breakout, it will be very illiquid, right? It's already $1,000 name that barely does 2 million shares on average, so it will be very spready and illiquid. So you're gonna be already out of the money if you take a breakout. So most of the time you want to be careful doing that on a name like this. Maybe wait for a dip to get long into, and that's where the earnings anchored VWAP, that's where the get today's levels, like today's high, today's low, today's VWAP, and such technicals on the 5-minute chart, like that dip over there, all come into play where you get to make a read on the stock and so on. So watching NOW, but the priority for this one, I will say probably on the blue side, and I more so care about this probably later on in the day than the open, right? Even though the earnings anchor VWAP bounces and trades are usually off the open, this one I'm not as interested to trade off the open at all. MP making a little bit of a recovery. It got smacked down not too long ago, but MP, UUUU, the rare earth metal stocks are kind of coming back into play. So this is exactly what you want to see in the market. You want to see themes emerging. You want to see a couple sectors rallying. For example, right now you have the what do you call it? The cybersecurity sector, CrowdStrike, PanW, the cybersecurity sector picking up some steam at the moment. They are the ones who want to take the tech sector back up, apparently. You have the AI sector bringing back in some steam. Palantir, which was one of the most favorite stocks before the whole market scare that we had. Palantir was the most loved, and during the whole market scare, Palantir was the most bullish chart and the strongest chart out there. It was still above its 200-day moving average, and now as the market seems to be bouncing back up, it is no surprise that Palantir is the one that's actually breaking out and making monster moves back up. Yeah, you have SMCI making a move too, but it's nowhere close to what Palantir is doing, right? It just goes to show how technicals like these moving averages and simple things actually do matter, even on a bigger time frame if you're looking to swing or invest and so on. So shout out to Palantir for that side. But when it comes to these rare earth metal stocks for tomorrow, which are on the watch list, I'm not sure I'm that interested to trade them just yet, but it's on the watch, but I'm not sure I'll actually be trading it. SMMT, this is a pretty monster breakout, honestly. Also a stock that is very, very, very bullish. I mean, let me just turn back on all the indicators I deleted. You can see how the previous all-time high anchored VWAP was a resistance until it wasn't, and then it turned into a support. They tested that area, and then they launched it back up, 22 to 37. You can call this a little overextended, you can call this a little parabolic, sure, but I'm going to call it a start of a breakout. So this is you know, day one of breakout today, and tomorrow any dips and holds above this area, any dip and hold above today's VWAP alone would be bullish itself. I don't even want to see it go all the way back into 34. I want to see it bounce from 35. Okay, so you can see how right here, chop, 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 pop up to the north side, pull back, hold 34, and then rally. This is kind of what you want to see tomorrow also, but more so I want to see this happen around, you know, $35 instead of $34. So SMMT for a possible day 2 trade, I'm going to put inflection level as 35, which is right around today's VWAP, but it's more 34.80. So I'll just kind of put that as a possible support. I'll just put as possible inflection area to keep an eye out for 34.80. A couple levels over here, inflection 170, resistance 175, support 165, 160, basic stuff. CEP, no real levels that I'm really watching. It's just the vibe trade if for anyone who understands that. 34 should be support. I don't want to see the stock below 34 for SMMT. Hasbro, I quickly glanced over it, but I don't think I'm actually even going to be trading this too much tomorrow, or even giving it a real glance at all. But I'll put some levels in my watch here. 61.57 as the resistance. I'll just say 61.57 to 61.50. How is today's high 61.64, bruv? What am I missing? Okay, today's high was 61.57. So what am I missing? I guess bad data over there on Hasbro. But overall, we're looking for that area to be a resistance on a possible pop, and if it's holding as a support, then it flips. FI. Is it FI? I think it is FI. FI down 18% after the company reported financial results and affirmed its 2025 EPS guidance. So I'm guessing affirmed means that you know, you reconfirmed, but I guess you reconfirmed it that you're gonna suck, absolutely push to the downside, and hence you got a big move over here on the daily chart, right? Big move on the daily chart, dropping, what was it, 18%, getting below the 200-day moving average. The high of day today, exactly the 200-day moving average. So lots of WTF kind of question marks over here, even though the report looks to be good. But I guess you know, their full year guidance probably being slashed or not as good as previously thought, and hence you're getting this type of a reaction on the stock, the lower day breakdown, and then it just went sideways for the rest of the day. This actually looks very similar to what ENPH did, and if you see how ENPH played the next day, which is I think today, it was not a short at all. So I just drew a line out there at 180. If this stock is back above 180, I am most likely not gonna bother looking for a short at all. But given that you know, it had such a big drop to the downside today, I'm going to be not looking for breakdowns. I want to wait to see how pops reject. So 180 is the inflection level for me. I guess I'm gonna put orange. I'm gonna put 181, which is the VWAP, 181.50 to 181.68. That is the anchored VWAP for earnings. FI 180 is the inflection level because that's the line that I have drawn out for myself. So watching that area, Intel not something that I'm gonna even bother looking for a trade tomorrow. Tesla making a little bit of a rally here, I'm guessing with the help of Google, but also with the help of its own earnings report, right? They reported earnings not too long ago, and nice double top, you know, I guess you could say intraday candles back to back, same high, same low, not the same low, but back to back same high, and the stock with the help of Google and with the help of market breaking out over here into the after hours. The question will be, does it hold 260 on pullbacks? If Tesla is not staying strong above 260 on pullbacks, then it's almost not as important for me to look long at all. If you cannot hold above today's high, yesterday's high, then why am I bothering looking for a long on this name? I'd much rather go look at Google or some of the other names I just talked about for us. So Tesla 260 is going to be that pivotal price point for me, where you're either under it or you're above it. Shout out to Nvidia, but I'm not really sure what I want to do with Nvidia. And that's, you know, sometimes a good thing. When you don't know what you want to do with these big names, the best thing to do is stay away from it. You don't have to make a trade and lose money without a reason. So you can see how it is very much in a bunch of previous ranges. The one thing that makes Nvidia great to trade no matter where it is in the range is the fact that it's a super stock. It trades 300 million shares. It has almost a $5 to $7 ATR. If you are patient enough and waiting around the right prices, and also reading the market, you will be able to find some trades no matter what, right? Even if the stock is in previous days or previous weeks or previous months ranges, you will still be able to find a setup to exploit on Nvidia and on Tesla most of the time. But I don't think that's enough of a reason to go out there and push a trade on these names. There's other stocks that are going to give you a better risk to reward at the moment, and actually have a sound logical reason to why you should be trading them, and I think that's where focus should be. If you have a setup on Nvidia that you see that I'm not seeing, then yes, obviously go for it, right? Trade your setup, trade your playbook. But I'm just saying, in my terms, I'm not seeing anything special on Nvidia that stands out as some of these other names have stood out for me at a quick glance. So Nvidia, probably not a name that I'll be trading tomorrow. Palantir, for sure a name that I'll be trading tomorrow. Big move today, big move yesterday. So continue to look for dips, right? Look to see if dips get bought up. Buyers are stepping back in. You can see how volume's kind of perking back up a little bit. The blue line is the moving average for volume, so still under the moving average, but getting ready to bring in some volume and some excitement for Palantir. And basic levels such as today's VWAP, today's high, today's low, the $100 level is an inflection level. So this basic levels on Palantir, you don't even need to put any in my notes or in your notes, is what I was trying to say, to kind of write down. You just make sure that you have your lines at yesterday's high, yesterday's low, VWAP, and so on. MicroStrategy, MSTR, 350 is, you know, showing you some good support at the moment. Even though today's low was 340, today's high was 350, so not really support, but ideally you want to see previous resistances turning into support, which is exactly what's happening. Bitcoin looks like it wants to either you know, go up higher because you got nice little wicks here, or just trade sideways a little bit before it starts to pick back steam again. So if Bitcoin actually starts to run back higher, then MicroStrategy for sure something to keep an eye on for the long side. Don't ignore this one at all. I'm talking to myself when I say this, especially because of my personal biases against Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. That should not stop me from looking for a long and a trade and a money-making opportunity if it is there. Netflix, new all-time high. Earnings report was a banger. They were talking about increasing their earnings report for the future, how they want to triple, double their company, possible UFC contracts in the future. Lots and lots of good things. I can just keep on going. New Black Mirror. I mean, so much that can Netflix could possibly be the next big giant. It already is, right? But the next big giant. And things like COVID are only going to help Netflix. Right? So shout out to Netflix, a new all-time high, holding the 200-day moving average. I mean, look, if you bought $800 area and now you're watching the stock at 27% higher than where you bought it, you're loving it, right? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I still wouldn't say this is overextended after a 27% pop in less than a month or so. I would not say that's overextended at all. Because some sort of episodic pivot, not really. I'm using that word very lightly here, because we haven't really seen the numbers come into play. These are just rumors pivot, right? But the pivot is happening, and you are getting a move up. I will not be expressing my trade directly on NFLX. It will be on NLFX, it is NFXL. NFXL, which are the leverage ETFs. This one has yet to break its all-time high, and with Netflix breaking its all-time high, as long as it continues to keep trading higher, then obviously NFXL should give me a trade above 51.40, 51.50. So that should be a very, very easy long tomorrow, as long as Netflix is continuing to trade above its all-time high, previous all-time high, not the one it made today. NFLX should easily be trading above 51.50, at which point I don't even have to bother looking for any other trades on the day. That one trade should alone make me my whole day, my whole month, my whole week if I size it properly and if it sets up properly. So we'll be watching this one for sure. SLB, some names that report earnings tomorrow after hours. Tomorrow pre-market, decent box. So breakout above this box and then holding above this area on pullbacks would basically give me a very easy long setup. So watching to see how SLB sets up in the pre-market. Another name, ABBV. Similar idea, but this is right into the 200-day moving average. So ideally, you want to see the breakout happening into the 200-day and then trading above the 200-day, which makes the long hunting a little bit easier. But if we do break out and simply go into the 200-day moving average and stall out, that might not be the most bullish indication for like breakout longs and so on. You could possibly look for a dip long if the dips have buyers, but I think the easier trade from there honestly would be to short that pop and have a good gap close and then look for the long from the gap close instead. So on the watch, but just because of the chart, it's not as important for me as some of the other names on the day. T-Mobile reported earnings today after hours and dropped like a hot rock. So that one's on the priority list for sure. But it's a mobile company. Are they really going to go bankrupt anytime soon? Probably not. Right? What is T-Mobile's PE ratio? $27.1. So I'm not really sure this one is going to do a whole lot of bankruptcy just yet. It's a profitable company. They make money. That looks like a positive earnings report. I'm not even reading the earnings report. I only care about the chart at the moment and the very simple price point, which is 250. So 250 to 245.50 is kind of a level. 245.50, kind of the zone that I'm going to be watching for. Above 250, no shorts. Failure into 250, shorts. Into 244.50, longs, and a failure below 244.50, shorts. So kind of simple trade logic over there. Not going to you know, scratch my head too much on that name. And the Charter, a name that reports name that reports earning tomorrow pre-market. Let me quickly move T-Mobile up to some of the names that reported today. I guess I'll just put it over here, even though I don't really care about Intel. FI has, all right, that looks better. AEM, didn't they report today? Oh no. So you need to go higher. AEM did report, but it's a gold miner name, and I don't really trade these names, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do a whole lot with that one. That's just me being honest. SKX Skechers pushing to the downside. Looks like it actually broke a good resist or support level, 46.12. Is that this area? No. So it dropped into 44.50. And it bounced right off of that. So that just makes it easier, right? It goes back into this low and bounces. I think that's a very easy long on Skechers. But if it goes back into this low and it looks like it's about to break down, that just makes it a much easier short. So pretty simple setup over there on Skechers from that $44.50 area with the PE of 12.16, and it looks like a miss on earnings and a revenue, and a nice little push to the downside on the earnings report. Makes my life so much easier when levels like that show up. And now it's just a matter of, do you have the discipline and the patience to not make a trade anywhere else besides that level, right? If it trades somewhere else, are you just going to force yourself and itch yourself into a trade, or are you just going to let it go and move on because there's a bunch of other names that are in play? So things like that are exactly what make a trader and break a trader. So you want to be careful. Don't force any positions that you are not prepared for, and lose money without any reason. So that's basically me talking to myself again. Me talking to myself. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is basically the watch list for tomorrow. Nice and sweet and short, not extremely long watch list like I usually have. And you know, the stocks that I do have up here, I am very, very happy with the watch list and very confident with some of the setups and playbooks that I am visualizing at the moment. So very excited to see how tomorrow sets up. Quickly, let's go do some research on these IPOs that are happening tomorrow, such as PHOE, Phoenix Asia Holdings. So IPOing tomorrow, $8 million deal size, 1.6 million shares being offered. And what exactly are you? Let's go take a quick read. Hong Kong, okay. Substructure work such as site formation, ground investigation, and foundation works in Hong Kong. Founded in 1990, and you only have 29 employees in a company that does ground investigation and foundation work. Can we say scam? Can someone spell scam for me, please? They have a PE ratio of 88, so they make money? What? What? No shot, dude. They have 158% growth year over year. How much is the actual shares that you're offering to the market? You have 21 million shares outstanding, and you're offering 1.6 million. I don't know. I don't know about this company, but on the watch for sure. FMFC, another one going IPO tomorrow. Oh, that's not the one. FMFC. $9 million deal size, a little bit bigger. Also a little bit bigger on the shares being offered. Let's go check out what they actually do. This is a Cambodian company, footwear and accessories. So a little bit more. That sounds Chinese to me, but not racist, I promise. IPO date tomorrow. We knew that, obviously. Footwear and accessories, consumer discretionary. Operating subsidiary Candle M Ventures is a contract manufacturer of affordable luxury leather goods. With its manufacturer operations in Cambodia, we primarily manufacture handbags, shoulder bag and crossbody bags, tote bags, backpack, tote handbags, so everything bag. Okay, gotcha. Our customers are well-known global fashion brands that are headquartered in the United States. Who do you actually provide? This is where our good friends, such as Twitter, come into play, and we quickly go over here. Who does work with? What are the brand names? Alright, I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling easy bullshit on that one. Usually you kind of, are happy to say exactly what brands you're working with. But they don't want to mention at all, and AI can't find anything about it. Is this the company that I need to be Googling? Who's the actual manufacturer? Damn, son. Okay. FMF manufacturer. Alright, I'm calling Bolt. Bolt, 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 Bolt. Another scam company. Do they actually have any growths? Let's go take a look at it. Where is this file? Statistics, financials, and they are growing by 3-4%. Meh, not interesting, but growth is something to never dispute. Both of these companies are apparently growing, but I call bull on both of them, and that is basically all she wrote for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Last but not least, let me show you guys the econ calendar. Friday usually a nothing burger, a dead econ calendar, Michigan 1-year numbers, and a bunch of other Michigan numbers at 10 o'clock. The Baker rig count at 1 o'clock, and a bunch of other commodity numbers coming out at 3:30. As usual, Friday is a nothing burger for the econ calendar. But given that it is a Friday, and that means the weekend's right around the corner, the question is, are people really interested in putting exposure into the market over the weekend, given Trump can say anything and everything and ruin your portfolios? Or does Trump actually help your portfolios a little bit by saying the right things and popping the market up? So that will be obviously something to watch out for. I see some of you in the chat over here talking about Chinese names, Baba, NIO. China names are always on watch, but the volume is dying down big time on these names as it's very uncertain as to what exactly is happening. Sometimes we're talking about deals being made. The next second we're talking about delisting the stocks. The next second we're talking about raising tariffs. So a lot of confusion. I'm not sure. We're gonna see a volume spike just yet. It might take some time, and once volume picks back up on these China names, I will for sure be trading it again. But besides that, I think I'm not too keen on the China sector at the moment. I see Momo saying, Prad, what's up, Momo? Is there something you wanted me to take a look at? Mind looking at Nintendo on the daily for me? I don't know what to do with it. What price point should I use as an exit? Nintendo. I know they had Nintendo 2, or was it Switch 2s or something coming out today? I saw a big line around the block on the Game Shop GameStop stores around the block today. So I'm guessing that's the spike from Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever. Is this on our markets? This is on the OTC markets. Gotcha. It's a very simple trail. I just trail it off today's low. Put your stop at today's low, and if the stock gets back below the all-time high, you're kind of done with that trade. If you want a little bit more variance, then you could possibly, you know, try to use some sort of moving average as your trail. But after this big gap up, I would possibly just move my stop up at today's low and then manage my position from there on. If you want to see if you can get a bigger move out of it, depending on where your entry is, you could even put your stop below 19. If it gets below 19, you could say, okay, I had the stock at 15, or I had the stock at 14, I had the run up to 19, that looks like a failed breakout of all-time high, I'm gonna take my exit and walk away. But if you're long at 18, then obviously, you know, putting a stop at 19 doesn't really make too much sense. So maybe you want to move your stop up to 1950, which would be today's low. You said you're long from 940, then I don't think you have any reason to really get out. This might be a lifetime holder for you, given how big of a gamer you are, given how much you play such games that Nintendo makes. I've seen your streams, so I don't think there's any reason for you to even think about an exit unless you really need capital, you need liquid, you need cash. Unless you need something like that, I don't think there's a reason to really exit. But always good to have an exit plan. Always good to have an exit plan and know what to do when a stock does something. So maybe you want to take some profits when today's low breaks and we start trading below 1950. Take some profits, not close the entire position, take some profits, and then use moving averages like the 50-day moving average, the 20-day moving average to trail more of your position, depending on how far they are from the current price and so on. So just a couple ideas over there. Anything else in the chat? I see Trader Inayad saying wagwan man, how you doing? That's a horrible Jamaican accent. The worst one I've ever had. Barcade, long time no see. Serve and SMCI. Not really stocks that I'm too interested in trading at the moment. I think if I care about an AI name, it's more likely Palantir than SMCI. SMCI just has too many levels above for me to look for a long, because I mostly trade breakouts. So just way too many levels on the north side. For example, that big $40 area just up north. So not too interested on this one at the moment. Serve, why is robotics coming into play? I mean, there is no volume at all over there. So not really sure if there's anything I'm going to be doing with Serve at all. And if I remember correctly, Nvidia actually dumped their position on Serve, which is what caused this downfall on the name. So when the company the reason why the stock popped up is no longer the reason you want to possibly not look at this name at all. So I'm not sure I'm interested in Serve for swing investments or anything. Just not a name to be even had on the watch list, in my opinion. Just look at the volume dying down. I don't know if there was a special catalyst today, but for me, the fact that Nvidia dumped you, it's like it's like dating your buddy's ex-girlfriend. It's like not something that I really want to even be thinking about, right? Not that I haven't done it. I have done it, but it's just filthy. It's dirty. Move on. Get a new girl. Find a different woman, right? All right. It's past 9. I'm about to head out. I'll see you guys next week. Next week, Monday. It's been a great week. No, it has not. I won't lie to you. It's been a horrible week. But I'll see you guys next time, Monday. Have a great long weekend. What? It's not a long weekend. Have a great weekend and good luck tomorrow. Still got one more week on the market, or a couple more days before the month ends. So still some time left in April. Let's try to end it with a bang. TraderPrad out. Peace, ladies and gentlemen. With your host TraderPrad, I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.